You might be thinking about your desired partner. Okay, maybe there's someone else now, and the whole thing is over, which you might have noticed. Or you say to yourself, they're still in contact with someone else. You also sense that something is going on. It could be that someone has ended a relationship, or that there are still other people involved. I have to look at this on a broader scale here, Boo, because we're talking about the collective. But the point is that you're special someone, you notice something, or you know something, see something, whatever it may be, or you have the feeling that there's still contact with someone else. Maybe with an ex, or with a person where you say, even if it's not a relationship, it could also be family or something else where you think something just doesn't add up there. But he doesn't say anything about it either. And you want to know for yourself, is the whole thing about to fall apart again? Is he going back there again, or is there someone else when it comes to a relationship? What is this contact? And that's what we're going to take a look at now. Dear ones, we are collective people. The person cards are gender neutral, and collective readings can't apply to everyone. This is your counterpart, whether male or female. You always transform it so wonderfully for yourselves and pick out the parts where you say, okay, that resonates with me. I can take that as a piece for my puzzle. And first of all, I want to give you all a big warm hug and thank you for being here. Thank you for existing, and thank you for your warmth. Now let's take a look and see if that's it. With this other person, as I said, it could be his ex, where you say, hey, wait a minute, wasn't that over? Why is there contact again? Are they getting closer again? Or other people in his circle, it could be friends or family, where you wonder, are they maybe getting in the way again now that he's started to move a bit in your direction? And now you feel like you can't make sense of it, and that's what we're going to look at now. I think I have it backwards. There, let's take a look. Let's see what's going on there. All right. We already have a cup. Let's see what the cup tells us here. We have the Knight of Cups, or rather the King of Cups. King? Yes, King. The King of Cups. So this is about diplomacy. So there's something here, this coolness as well. There's something stirred up here, something manipulative. And now it's being handled diplomatically somehow. It's also about somehow keeping up appearances or something like that. There's something lurking here in all of this. And definitely something disruptive. And now it's about understanding, maybe also between each other, because something here needs to be clarified. Something here is in the process of being clarified, something that needs to be resolved. And it's kind of like putting on a brave face in a bad situation, something along those lines. So there's something manipulative here, something really unsettling, agitated. And yes, let's take a look at what's really going on. What else will come to light? So now we have the swords on and the chariot. Let's take a look then. Now we have the king again as well. So let's see what else shows up here. We have the King of Swords. So this is about clear thinking from your loved one. This is about something to do with justice as it relates to him. But there's also something like abuse involved, especially with the 10. So something here happened ruthlessly, or there's something here, yes, where arrogance is also showing up. How or what? As I said, we will definitely get clarity on this. But here things are being approached analytically. So tactically, analytically, something is in motion here. That also shows a sense of tact on his part. But something, as I said, how is it with my what? Yes, like a breach of trust, or yes, this resentment, there's something there. Also manipulative, there's something, manipulation is involved here. And now we're here. Why this contact, right? So let's take a look. Now, we have the major arcana. I always find that very, very interesting. So here it's definitely about charging forward and maintaining control. There's still some uncertainty to be seen, yes, and still a little bit of aimlessness. But here there's a rush forward, and I'd say, but when I talk about rushing forward in this connection, I also mean that things are turbulent in the contact as well. So I have to say, I don't really see any harmony here so far. Let's see what else we can find. In any case, there's activity here, and something still needs to be dealt with and completed. So let's take a look. So let me tell you right away, trouble is definitely inevitable. But I can already tell you, it has nothing to do with you. On the contrary, here, it actually means keeping all of this a secret, at least as far as you're concerned. And we already have the other person showing up here. They are definitely already present here. So let's see what else is revealed here. But since I already had them in my hand, fantastic. Let's take that one along as well. All right? And then let's see what else is revealed. Oh, yes. Okay. Then I'd say, let's go. Very interesting. When it comes to your special someone, if you currently have no contact, or if you do have contact, it definitely has nothing to do with you. There's nothing here being shown that says love is in the air, or that there's going to be any kind of close encounter. Because when it comes to you, I see feelings of happiness in your direction, no matter whether you've already been in a relationship before, or if contact was broken off again, no matter what the connection is between the two of you. You are a very, very important factor in his current situation, because he knows, notices, and feels on a conscious level that you have always been so good for him. What a warm-hearted person you are, how you have always stood by him, and what you have given him. And these feelings really trigger something. So I would say it's an essential part that you are involved. With him, that's where the feelings are. Then we have the other person. As I said, it could be that there was once a relationship there, but it is definitely over. So absolutely certain, it's as sure as amen in church, that this relationship with this woman or man is over, collectively speaking. Contact, yes, that's still there. But the contact is completely marked by conflict, because things have come up afterwards. As I said, relationship. So it doesn't have to be a life partner. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. I'd like to repeat it again, or I want to emphasize it again, collectively. These could also be people who have always had an influence on your loved one. Manipulation is shown very clearly here. It is definitely present. No matter, as I said, whether it's a relationship, a partner, please adapt it to your own situation, or whether it's influence within the family or among friends. When it comes to your loved one and this connection, manipulation is a definite yes. The contact, even if there is contact again now, and you only perceive that there is contact. Maybe at first you see something or sense something. Yes, that's correct, but you don't know the background of the whole thing. So as I said, it could also be that you already know a little bit and say, yes, I had a suspicion and now it's confirmed. Your suspicion is correct. The contact is there, yes. But if you now think that something is starting up again and that everything is pure harmony between us, I have to tell you, you're completely wrong, because I've seen the communication between the two of them. And things have come up afterwards. And I have to say, he was a bit of a fool himself. So as I said, whether he was in a relationship with someone or it was just friendship or family, because I have seen that, and he is ashamed of it, and he absolutely does not want it to come out or for you to find out. And that's because he really was a bit of a fool. As I said, I see a connection here, whether it's a relationship, friendship, or family. Yes. And it was about the fact that he let himself be deceived, really completely deceived, because he wanted to prove something to himself. It must have been about this. This person was in a relationship with someone. Then there was a breakup. And of course, he wanted to be the one to say, I'll help you, I'm here for you, and I'll do everything. So that he would basically be the best, and so that I always get this praise and recognition, because he himself, I always sensed restlessness in him. I never really saw him as someone with genuine self-confidence. He has always needed that, or still needs it even now. Always wanting to show off, maybe with material things too, or just to be seen as impressive. And then he always needed affirmation, that kind of advocacy. He kept needing this reassurance, this support, whatever you want to call it, that he's good, that he's doing everything right, and that he's the man, the hero. So I have it lying here. So, and now we have the situation where your loved one has helped this person financially. Here it could be, because I see a contract, that it's about a loan or some kind of financing, maybe something that was taken out in his name, or that he took over to help this person. I see financial matters between the two of them here and here. This manipulative aspect that has now come to light. We'll get to that again in a moment. So as I said, either a loan was taken out here or some kind of financing was assumed in his name, just to help this person, because he's so great. He's the helper. He's the hero, the one who saves the day. Yes, and that's what it's about now, getting out of this contract again, because we're really facing a serious bottleneck here. Because when it comes to repayment, I actually see a loss here, irregularities. And this person is definitely in a relationship, either new or once again with someone else. So as I said, just as an example, or if the two of them were together in a relationship, yeah, either you know about it or you don't, because you kept an awful lot of things secret. This person has gone back to the past again. So I'll just say here, the partner, right? It could have been an ex. Or yes, they had already been getting a bit closer to someone else for a while, and then basically dropped one person and took up with a new one. And at first, there's this state of shock, right? Because it came out that even while the two of them were still in contact, there was already contact with someone else, you know? And if it was a friendship, it wasn't mentioned. Everything was kept secret. There were some secrets here that came up, like doing things together with the other person, for example. Because I always, when it comes to being out in public, I always sensed there were lies, because this person was very secretive. So like excuses maybe like, oh, I can't reveal my feelings, can't face them, and I can't open up, something along those lines. I always sensed that all of this was based on lies. But in reality, the whole case, this person was playing a double game, because the other man, whether it was the ex or someone new she had met, I had already noticed for some time that she was in contact with him, and that contact was kept secret. If we're talking about friendship or family here, then it's a case where behind my back, my loved one was also being manipulative, almost making fun of me. Wow, look at that. Now he's taken out a loan for me. I borrowed the amount, you know? And there were lies involved because the money wasn't used for what was said. Since I see the communication here as deceitful, and I see it as being dominated by this person. So, and that's what's come out now. Some things have come to light about what happened, where he was kind of blinded, whether it was by a woman, a relationship, or even by family and friends. And that really hits hard. And now it's about, as I said, maybe it was agreed that, okay, the repayment would be a certain amount each month, but right now I see the repayment at a standstill. In other words, your loved one has quite a bit of debt here, which he currently has to pay out of his own pocket, because I sense something manipulative from this person. There's no repayment, there's no agreement at the moment. By the way, I sense this person as being very dominant. They do what they think is right for themselves, and make the decisions. They have this coldness, but can very quickly flip the switch and suddenly appear warm and, yes, also play the innocent little lamb a bit. But you can feel that there's something deceptive going on here. As I said, I see the person of the heart experiencing financial loss. It's just, as I mentioned, financial material, you know? I'm simply being shown that it's a contract. So something like a loan or financing, that something had to be taken away. In any case, he has already invested quite a lot in this whole connection, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, especially when it comes to finances. And it was really neither here nor there. He was completely deceived. But that's exactly what's weighing on him and really dragging him down, because everything here has completely fallen apart. He put his trust in the wrong person and was totally misled. In terms of family or friendship, as I said, he was actually pretty much completely betrayed here. He was played for a fool here. I see a lot of misunderstandings here, and this manipulative behavior, these misunderstandings, and also putting on a brave face. I see all of that with the person he cares about, that now he's trying in this way because he wants his money or something material. It could also be a car or whatever, just as an example, you know. That he's now trying to make everything seem harmonious here through lies. I don't feel any connection anymore, no emotion, no love, nothing like, I want you back and I still love you. No, that's completely over here. There's absolutely nothing left. It's dead, even in his pants, it's dead. So, you know, not just in his heart. And I see with him that he's now playing this game, that he's trying to get along with the person, because the more he shows resistance here or this, whoa, no, and what are you doing? And with this and now this and that, he doesn't get anywhere because it's always, he doesn't really have anything concrete. There's nothing here that's stable, nothing that might have been put in writing, because I only see a verbal agreement here, you know, and that's completely based on a lie. Like I said, there's also another person involved, someone from the past who has reappeared, and there's quite a lot going on. So it could also be that it has now come out that this person has gone back to Mr. XY or whoever, right? Or moved away or something like that. And here we also have this feeling, wow, how could I, what am I such a complete fool? And it's a lot of money. We're really talking about, I'd say, 100 euros or 200 euros here. No, this is really about much more than that. So I have a really, really large sum of money here, and a lot has also been given as gifts. As I said, someone here was completely deceived and misled, right? So now let's take a closer look at how things will continue here. So once again, if you notice anything here, and if there's still contact, those are false fears, false worries. If you have your fears, your fears, your worries, I see them here as completely unfounded. You don't need them, because that's really the reason behind all of this. And he's also ashamed of it, hoping to God that it never comes out. God forbid anyone finds out what he actually did here and how he let himself be fooled. But well, right? He baked this bread himself, and now he simply has to eat it, right? If this is the only bread he's baked. So with that in mind, all right, let's see how things continue here. We have the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. So there's already quite a bit of money involved here. But let's see what else we can observe in terms of financial activity, in terms of progress. Here. With the Page of Pentacles, it shows that support, so really he's also giving himself this support. He supports the whole thing by saying, okay, I'm grabbing hold of my optimism now, and I'm setting out and breaking free from this standstill, because he himself is also going into deep reflection. Now we have reflection here again, and once more, reflection about you, about what you actually gave him, your honesty, your openness, and your warmth. And here we have completely, this might sound silly, I know, but this comparison, but it's beautiful because he becomes aware here, yes, what were you like? I completely trampled on my happiness here. That's your loved one's perspective. And that happiness was you, definitely. So as I said, now we're moving forward here. He's really setting out. And there's still a bit of a delay, a postponement in all of this. But he truly wants to make progress, because now he would seize any opportunity or to completely go against it. But as I said, he's playing a different game right now, which I actually think is good, because otherwise he wouldn't make any progress. So he's basically getting along really well with this person here, and maybe it's like, hey, come on, let's stay friends, something along those lines. But it's not genuine. It's not sincere from your loved one, but he really just wants to get his money back. Or if it's about material things, that's what your loved one is focused on. So then we have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles also shows that your loved one is still holding on a bit, but everything will resolve itself again, because there will be some spontaneous action, and right now he doesn't want to risk anything further, but then he'll seize the opportunity and seize the opportunity and then act spontaneously. It's kind of like he has a plan or is planning something. He's also being a bit strategic here, so that he can get everything back, or somehow and find out something he can do to get what he's entitled to, and that will happen very spontaneously, very suddenly. I see this suddenness here. We also have this suddenness again, so that things will really calm down, because he wants peace as well. Since there's no trust left here, there's absolute mistrust, and he's extremely cautious at the moment. He won't risk anything, yes. He's also worrying a bit excessively, so he's kind of stuck in that, but it's actually good, because he really messed up a lot here, you know. But there will also be, because I see this person as being very, very greedy. It could also be the partner, maybe even the current one here, that could also be involved. But in any case, this is all about regaining control, security, and stability, so that everything is completely resolved, that it comes to an end, that the old situation is fully closed and finished. That's being shown again here. So as I said, even if everything seems to be lying dormant right now, he's approaching the whole thing strategically, and he's going to find something out, get some kind of support or help from somewhere. Maybe he'll read something on the internet or pick up on something, or maybe he'll even get legal advice or something from someone. That's also possible. And then, boom, you know. So putting on a brave face in a bad situation, definitely. So it's not as it seems. If you think that maybe something is starting up again here, or that he's drifting off again and completely letting himself be pulled back by others, or that he's letting himself be fooled again and drawn back into that vortex, no, absolutely not. Dear ones, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for watching, and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye.